Hello everyone, my name is Ryan from Reco Reptiles. This video that I'm going to show you, I just want to give you a heads up. Some of you might find this uncomfortable. It's not pleasant to look at. It's blatantly sad. This is not something you want to see with animals. I actually posted this animal pretty recently. He's a Fasciolatus Max Snow cross male. David's Fine Geckos had him. MS Farms Lamore, Micah, a friend of mine, isn't going to be working with the Fasciolatus group. She had that group. We're going to work it into some other projects of ours. But this animal was produced from John at Gecko Boa. So, as far as origin, he has healthy genetics, or origin-wise. But I'm going to show you there are dark sides to breeding reptiles and just having animals in general. It doesn't have to be bred. This guy, he was a breeder. I haven't bred him personally, so I bought him, I acquired him as a breeder. I didn't buy him, but I acquired the gecko as a breeding male. He has had, he's bred before. But I'm going to show you a kind of sad part of animals that are genetically not healthy and things that can just happen. Genetically he is healthy, but he's had a seizure. So he was throbbing around. I was feeding all my animals. All of them are fine. All the Fasciolatus crosses are perfectly fine. Seizures are pretty rare. There are some genetic traits like Enigma and Lemon Frost. Lemon Frost is cancer though, and that's hereditary. You cannot outcross the cancer. It will, no matter whatever you cross it to, it's just spreading the chance of now, you're outcrossing that. Okay, now this animal is going to have cancer too. You're just spreading the cancer is all that you're doing. So for this case, it's kind of, it's more rare. This isn't something, it's not gout. Gout doesn't look like this. It's not MDE or MDB, metabolic bone disease. Fasciolatus they look visually different than leopard geckos. They're skinnier and a little bit longer, and they're not as heavy. So, as far as body, physicality and everything like that, they're physically skinnier, more slim, but they're longer. They're a longer gecko. So this gecko doesn't have MBDE. A lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, this thing has this." It doesn't. He takes his calcium. He had a seizure, and now his back legs do not work. I'm gonna show you kind of what it looks like. A lot of people aren't gonna show you, the dark side of a lot of animals, animal care in general, reptiles, cats, dogs, whatever. Cattle. I've seen this with cattle before, where animals will just have a seizure. I had a cat that had a seizure growing up, and he died. It was pretty sad, but this guy, you can kind of tell with this structure. It looks like a leopard gecko, but a little bit different. Has some peculiar color for a Fasciolatus. But this guy, he had a seizure, and now his back legs, it's gonna let me, so he doesn't bend his legs. He's just kind of dragging them along. He's trying to with this one, it looks like, on this side. But here, his left leg, I was feeling him, and from here down, it's more so like the left side down. He's just dragging his body around. He's a really pretty animal. He's obviously bred, so he's pretty skinny for the year, so the animals are getting back into breeding. I'm trying to move his foot to see if he's trying to move his legs. But he's just dragging them along. It's pretty sad. This is not something I was expecting. This is not anything that you're going to expect while keeping the animals. It can happen, and it really sucks. He's a really good looking animal. He is kind of funky though with his head pattern, which makes me question if, you know, some of his lineage, if he has any enigma or anything like that, which we do not breed here at all. But his tail right here is just like super stiff. Here, you know, you got that squishy kind of, but here is just tight and stiff. He's trying. So this guy's, you know, they're pets first. Always pets first. He's in a quarantine little setup though right now. I'm just showing him in this tank, or in this tub. It's not a tank. He's just hanging out in this right now, but he's trying real hard. Makes me sad. So we'll be going to the vet tomorrow, see what they say, and kind of see how his body's just more lengthy, and they're more of a, you know, more slim subspecies of leopard gecko. They look fairly similar though. Let's see if I can grab him and just kind of show you his back legs. You can bend him a little bit, but he's just kind of dragging them. So we'll see how he is tomorrow. Taking him to the vet tomorrow. But depending on what they say, you know, we might give him up for adoption if they give a good outcome with him. But if not, if they're saying, you know, this is going to affect his way of life and it's going to, you know, hurt him. Reptiles really don't show pain as much either, which sucks. So he could be in pain and not be showing it. So if that's the case, then we'll unfortunately put him down. He's a really nice animal, but just because they're pretty looking and everything, you can't have an animal that, you know, is going to be suffering, which hurts and sad. He's a cool pet. I really like him. It's cool to hang out with, but if that's the case, you know, it's unfortunate. It sucks. You don't really plan for seizures. They're pretty rare. I've had 2 animals have seizures, and they were pet-only animals in general. I took them in, but knowing that they were that you can't breed them and that they did have seizures before having them. They were rescues, but this guy, it's pretty rare for this to happen. So I just wanted to show you guys kind of a dark but realistic side of having reptiles and breeding reptiles, that things like this do happen and it sucks. But if we can make awareness to it that this can happen and properly educate people and make sure inbreeding doesn't work. I mean, the Enigma Jane, for example, say he is Enigma, then, or, you know, has any Enigma lineage, it's a dominant gene, but anything with Enigma, for example, is prone to having seizures and lashing out and just mentally not all there. It's pretty sad. It made me worried with him, just with all this heavy dot pattern there. That's a pretty significant sign for Enigma, and his eyes, that I'm not able to pick him up, but he's got some orange in his eyes too, which is another sign of Enigma. It's kind of tough to tell with him just because he's a fasciolatus max snowcross, and knowing where he came from, I don't imagine them having Enigma in that lineage at all. I don't think they would, but it sucks. He's a cool guy. So yeah, that's what I'm showing you. It's tough to see this, but I hope you take this to note that negative things while keeping animals, and it's a learning experience for sure. And I always, we're just keepers and breeders. We're not vets. You pick up stuff while you're you know, keeping these animals, but we don't, unless you know how to properly use this equipment. I always urge, you know, you go to the vet and get things checked out when stuff like this happens. So yeah, I'll see you guys later, and we'll see how this guy turns out. I hope he does good.